Like most naturals, I started my journey with DIY, and then like many other naturals, I eventually ended up at BUY. Hello everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink. And this is a natural hair channel where we don't DIY, but I used to, okay? So in this video, I kind of wanted to share some of the DIYs that I used to do, maybe why I used to do them, why I stopped doing them, maybe if I found something that replaced it. I just felt like it was an interesting conversation to have. Now listen, I gotta say this up front. If your favorite DIY is in this video, I am not making a comment about your DIY. If it works for you, it works for you, and I cannot take that away from you. And I'm also not making a comment about you for using the DIY. This is YouTube, and you gotta say that in these streets, okay? So that being said, the height of my DIY-ness was when I followed the max hydration method. So I am going to, most of these DIYs that I'm going to start with are definitely ones that I was doing when I was following the max hydration method. So let's start off with the ACV rinse. I used to do apple cider vinegar rinses. I believe I diluted it to a 1-to-1 ratio. So like one part water, one part apple cider vinegar. And I think I was doing this because max hydration method, you get two choices: the baking soda rinse or the apple cider vinegar rinse. And I had heard all this bad stuff about baking soda, and I kind of was like, I don't know about using no baking soda. So I decided to do the apple cider vinegar rinse because I was like, oh, apple cider vinegar is going to get my hair clean, so on and so forth. But of course, as you guys know, if you've been hanging around here for a while, I started having problems with my hair, and the first thing that needed to come back into my regimen was like a cleanser, like a shampoo. And so I stopped doing the apple cider vinegar rinse. There's a really cool blog post on, what's that blog called? Man, I can't remember the name of the blog. Oh, Natural Haven. Okay, Natural Haven Bloom. And on there, she actually puts hair into like apple cider vinegar rinse and all this kind of stuff to see the cleanliness of it. And I believe that the apple cider vinegar left a lot of oil deposits on the hair. It didn't really clean the hair. And so that was enough for me. I was like, stop doing it. Let's do some shampoo. And that was the end of the apple cider vinegar rinse. Also a part of the max hydration method, I used to do, first I did clay mask. So like a thick product. But the thing is with my hair, trying to rinse it out, like, oh God, y'all, trying to rinse it out of my hair would just be, it was so painful to rinse it out of my hair. And then even working it in, it was so thick. And so then I switched to a clay rinse, and that was a whole lot easier to put in, a whole lot easier to rinse out. It was just a much better process. And the clay rinse that I used specifically was the one by The Main Objective. It's like, the title is real good, y'all. She's like, this clay rinse, such and such. It's a really good title. And I really did like the clay rinse. It is, if you're someone who's into doing like clay mask, that clay rinse from her is like a step above. It is so much better than doing actual clay mask. Now, let me tell you, my husband was mad when I was back doing these clay rinses though. He did not like the fact that the clay was all over the shower. He did not like that it was on the curtain. He was really irritated with it, and it never clogged our drains or anything like that, but he just didn't like how the clay was everywhere. And so I also, that was part of like the two-step cleansing situation. And so Natural Haven also, I think maybe in the same blog post, talks about the clay rinses, and she puts hair under the microscope for that one. And she found that clay rinses do remove dirt and debris from your hair, but it's about on the level of a co-wash, so it does leave some stuff still on your hair. And so for me, I'm like, nah, my hair was acting up and I need to get it clean, and I went back to using shampoo. So that's why the clay rinses and the clay washes went their way, because my hair needed to be cleaner than it was getting, and then my husband was irritated. And I mean, let's be real, I'm irritated too. I didn't like how dirty my shower was all the time. Okay, let's get into the gels, y'all. The gels. So at one point I used xanthan gum gel, and First of all, xanthan gum gel is kind of hard to make. You kind of have to like get the water and add the xanthan gum like just right so that it doesn't come out clumpy and so that it actually takes the water into the xanthan gum and becomes jelly. There is this older video where this person is testing out the different ratios, and that's a really good video. And then there's a video, a very detailed video that Miss DK made. It features a very cute picture of me in there. I'm looking quite cute in the photo. But she started using the xanthan gum gel after my recipe and my video was out. My video's not really good. I recommend the other ones over mine. But she started making it, and I think her video is way better than mine. And she was using the gel with success. I found for me though that xanthan gum gel has too much hold. Like way too much hold. And my hair was less healthy back then. My hair started to get stringy. So you put gel on stringy hair and strong gel on stringy hair just fully emphasizes the stringiness of the hair. My hair was not looking that great. And then also xanthan gum, depending on what you mix it with, will flake. So here I am with this super hard hold casty hair, and it flakes, and then it's so finicky to mix. I mean, I guess you guys, I don't even have to really fully spell out for you why I stopped making this one. I mean, it's kind of common sense as to why I stopped making this xanthan gum gel. I let it go. Now, of course, that's not the only gel I fooled around with. I also tried flaxseed gel. I have tried more than one recipe. Natural 85's recipe for me is too thin. Now there's another recipe that I believe is based off of Green Beauty, and I picked it up on the Later Ivy channel, and I think she watched that video, got inspired, and then started making it. It's where you like leave a decent amount of flax seeds and water overnight, and then you come and boil it and stuff. And I found that doing that method, it does make a thicker gel that grasps the curls out a little bit better. But I find that with flaxseed gel in general, I have to apply buckets of it to get my curls to clump. And then even after I've done that, my hair may still expand as it dries, and then it drips still and it loses water, and so then I end up with my hair not really being set. So I just had to let flaxseed gel go because I'm like, I'm never going to be able to make enough for the buckets that I'm having to put on here. And then I'm putting these buckets, and then what am I getting for it? I'm getting hair that's not really fully defined. I envy you people who can put the flaxseed gel on your hair and it comes out so defined and has so much hold. I have not been able to get that level of hold with flaxseed gel. And even manufactured flaxseed gels, I don't tend to really get much success with those either. So I think my hair just doesn't like flaxseed, whether I make it or somebody in the factory makes it. All right, let's go old school now, okay? So I used to make this detangling jelly, and it was like a mix of like aloe vera gel and maybe some oils. I should have looked at the video before. There's an crazy old video on this. I should have went and looked at it before I sat down to film this, but I didn't, so it is what it is. But yeah, it was back when I was detangling my hair before I washed it, and I just find that anytime I've ever tried to go back to detangling my hair before I wash it, I end up pulling a lot of hair out with pre-detangling. And that's even with spraying it with water, putting product on it, lubricating it. A lot of hair comes out, and it's a lot more hair than if I just detangle in the shower with wet hair. Also, I find that it always takes me longer to detangle my hair when I'm using like pre-detangling treatment. Now, of course, I have never really tried any commercially available pre-detangling treatments, and I think I eventually will try it because I can't be sitting up here firmly saying I don't like to pre-detangle. It doesn't work for me if I haven't tried all the options, and I've only really tried the DIY route, and it takes too long and it pulls out too much hair. That's why the pre-detangling, the jelly, I had to let it go because it was an extra step and an extra product, and I just find that method just doesn't work the best for me. Now, this DIY is one of the most popular pages on my blog. If you're not familiar, I used to have a blog, whathekink.blogspot.com. It's still up. It's still there. My actual whathekink.com website has a little link over to the side, like the top of it, that will link to my blog. Just there for, I guess, historical purposes, because I did blog my entire 1.5 year journey to natural hair, and then I did continue to blog for a little while after I went natural and before I was really like making YouTube videos. And so one of the more popular pages on there was a scalp scrub that I made, and it involved like common kitchen items, maybe some oil or something like that, and then I just would use like a toothbrush that I bought for the purpose, scrub, you know, put it in there, and would go through my scalp. But honestly, I find that is absolutely unnecessary. Shampooing my hair on a regular basis and with like actual shampoo, my scalp is fine. I don't have any gunk or build up to where I feel the need that I need to actually like abrade my scalp. And they actually do make pre-made products that are just like that. I think ORS makes a product like that, and it has a little toothbrush and everything, so you don't need to go and buy a toothbrush and raid the kitchen and do all these things to make a scrub that's not exactly formulated for your scalp, when they make stuff for that. But I even with the pre-made stuff, I don't feel the need for the pre-made. Like my scalp is pretty clean at this point, since, you know, I've let a lot of the extra stuff go that I used to do, like co-washing and stuff like that. So now the last one is a internet oldie, right? And that is the Cherry Lola treatment. There was a blogger by the name of Cherry Lola, and she came up with this treatment. The treatment is supposed to, a lot of people use it to like bring their curls out, like for curl definition. It involves mixing up all type of stuff, honey. All type of stuff. And I will say that Cherry Lola treatment was the first time I really saw my hair be defined. So this was like something I did. I think I did a Cherry Lola treatment way back in the day when Cherry Lola was still like blogging. Y'all, I don't even think the website's up anymore. For a while it was up, but it was just dead. Now I think she done took it down, like the website. You can't even go to Cherry Lola website. And so I think I did it back then. And then with the max hydration method, a lot of times it's recommended that you do Cherry Lola to start it. And I will say it does weigh down your hair. It does define it. It was the first time I had ever seen my hair be defined. I didn't even know my hair could be defined. I thought I had undefinable hair. And I was cool with that. But Cherry Lola did bring it out. But honestly, y'all, that Cherry Lola stuff, that's absolutely unnecessary. You don't need to do any of that. Now, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you like the Cherry Lola, you do it. But for me, I was like, I don't need to do that. I can just shampoo, condition my hair, treat it right, cut off any damage, and super define it with leave-in and gel, and I don't need to do a Cherry Lola treatment to bring out my curls. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I ain't gonna link none of these videos because there's a video for pretty much everything that I've talked about in this video. But I am gonna let YouTube recommend, okay? I'm gonna let YouTube recommend some stuff over here, but I ain't gonna link none of this stuff I done talked about. It is what it is. I'll see you in the next one.